Hello friends. Today we are going to start with new chapter, that is environment and health, in the subject health education and community pharmacy. So the name of the chapter is environment and health. Now environment means Paryavaran, Vatavaran, isn't it? Till now, three chapters we have covered. So, related to the health only, we are going to cover and study in this subject. Now, the term environment includes all aspects which surround man. This includes internal environment of the body, external environment of the body, in that living and non-living aspects. Internal environment, that is the all tissues and organs of our body, isn't it? Then the external environment, that includes not only water, air and soil that form our environment, but also the social and economic aspects also. So these are broadly classified as physical environment, that is the air, water, soil, housing facilities, climate, geography, heat, light, noise, debris, radiation. These are under physical aspect. Biological aspect will include man, then all microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, isn't it? Then animals, isn't it? Then psychosocial, isn't it? So psychosocial factor will include the cultural values, customs, our habits, isn't it? Our way of living, standard of living, isn't it? Our morals, our religion, education, lifestyle habits, community, isn't it? Healthcare services. So all these are under psychosocial aspect. Now the body maintains a balance between the internal and external environment. And many times when this balance, when it is disturbed, then the person gets diseased. Now definition of environment is, it includes all external factors like living and non-living, material and non-material, isn't it, which surround man. Then three components that we have earlier, as I said, like physical, biological, social. So in physical, water, air, soil, isn't it, that already I gave you idea. Biological, plant and animal life, that is all microorganisms, insects, then rodents and animals which are in the external environment. Social, that is the customs, habits, culture, the source of income, occupation, religion, isn't it? Now, we must know what is sanitation. Sanitation is way of life, isn't it? Now, it is expressed in clean home, isn't it? So, wherever we live, their cleanliness is very important. That is sanitation. It must come from within the people, isn't it? Now, there are environmental factors, isn't it? In environment, so many factors are there which are responsible for disease causation process. So, when there is control of environmental factors in disease causation process, that is called environmental sanitation. We can also define this as the control of all those factors in man's physical environment which exercise deleterious, meaning harmful effect on health. That is the meaning of environmental sanitation. Now, in this chapter, the main environmental factors that we are going to cover, that is the water, air, soil, and the last part will be medical entomology. So again I repeat, the main environmental factors we will cover, that is the water, air, soil, medical entomology, then noise, isn't it? And the diseases which are caused due to these environmental factors, isn't it? So first factor now we will start, that is the water. Now water is very essential in our life, isn't it? Next to air, water is important. So without water, there would have been no life, isn't it? Now, water has got many more important functions also, isn't it? So, just we will see the important functions of water and how water plays important role in our life, isn't it? But before that, some facts about water. So, nearly 90% of world's water is salty, isn't it? Or it is not uh, drinkable, we can say, or it is not safe to be used as a potable water. Now 75% of the human brain is water, 75% of living tree is water. So person can live with about a month without food, but only about a week without water, isn't it? And there are many people in our country also, we can say that 50% of the people, they are not still getting safe drinking water, and there are many more diseases which are called waterborne diseases. Now water which is safe enough, which is potable, we can say. So the definition, just meaning you must know, safe and wholesome water, it is defined as the water which is free from harmful microorganisms, pathogenic agents, free from harmful chemical substances, isn't it? It must be pleasant in taste, free from color and odor, and it must be used for domestic purposes also. Now, polluted water or contaminated water, we say that when it does not fulfill the above criteria, then we can say that the water is contaminated. Now, before starting with the sources of water, you must also know that water plays very important role in our uh, life. There are many important functions which are carried out by water. Like for digestion of food, water is important. Then secretion of digestive juices, maintaining electrolyte balance, conduction of the impulses, nerve impulses, then maintaining the fluidity of the blood, lymph and all secretions, then it maintaining body's temperature, isn't it? It also helps in excretion of waste product from the body. And other than the functions that are carried out inside the body, the domestic purpose also is sufficed by water. So for domestic purpose like drinking, cooking, for bathing, washing, at public places like gardens, swimming pools, isn't it? Water parks, firefighting, there public places water is needed. In industries, for industrial purpose water is needed. For agricultural purpose water is needed, isn't it? So these are important functions which are important for water. Now one question is asked on sources of water. So you must be able to write down in short about the various important sources of water. The important sources of water are three main sources. One is rain, then surface water, and third is groundwater. Now, rain is the natural source. Then surface water, that is the water which is stored. When we get water naturally, so we store this water as a surface water in the form of artificial lakes, impounding reservoirs, isn't it? Rivers and streams, isn't it? Tanks, ponds, and lakes. Then groundwater, that is another natural source of water, in that wells and springs, isn't it? So, in short, you must be able to describe, not in detail, about these sources of water. Now, rainwater, isn't it? So, it is a primary source of all water sources, isn't it? So when there is a raining, large amount of water that sinks into the earth to form groundwater. Then a part of water, rainwater, is converted into stream and rivers, which ultimately meet in the sea. A part of rainwater gets evaporated. So this evaporated water forms clouds and come back to the earth in the form of rain. This cycle is known as water cycle, isn't it? So rain water cycle is important. Then rainwater is the purest water in nature. It is clear, bright, sparkling, very soft. It is not a hard water. Only traces of dissolved solids and corrosive action on lead pipes is there. Free from pathogenic agents. Then impurities may get added in this, like acid rain, dilute solutions of sulfuric and nitric acid. Then it depends upon the area, and accordingly the little bit water may get contaminated with the impurities also. And these impurities which are present in environment, they may be dust, soot, suspended matter, gases, and even microorganisms. Now surface water. Surface water, as I said, the lakes, rivers, streams, ponds, and tanks. These are the sources, isn't it? So when rainwater reaches on ground or melted snow from hills begin to flow in the form of streams, rivers, and canals, or is collected in lakes, ponds, or tanks, it is called surface water. Now, here surface water, as I said, originates from rainwater. Contamination from human and animal source, highly probability of organic, bacterial, and viral contamination. Then many cities they depend on the surface water. Majority of the Indian cities, isn't it? So here the impounding reservoirs, rivers and streams, tanks, ponds and lakes are the examples. Then groundwater. Now rainwater percolating into ground constitutes groundwater, isn't it? Limit to groundwater in the world. Cheapest and most practical means superior to surface water. These are the some of the plus points of groundwater. Advantages are it is free from harmful microorganisms, pathogenic agents, requires no treatment, available even during dry season, less subject to contamination, isn't it? The only disadvantage with this groundwater is high in mineral content, pumping to lift the water. So groundwater has to be pumped, isn't it? And by pumping it will come up, isn't it? And the mineral content is there, so groundwater may be hard water also, isn't it? So here the examples in groundwater we can take of wells and springs. So here there are different kinds of wells and springs. Here the tube wells are there, shallow wells are there, deep wells and artesian wells, isn't it? So in slide you will get the idea about these wells, isn't it? Bacteriologically this is cheap and safe, isn't it? It consists of pipe into the water bearing stratum and fitted with a strainer at the bottom and hand pump at the top. Now this can last for a period of 5 to 10 years, isn't it? Then there are deep tube wells also, isn't it? Here the example is given of Chandigarh, isn't it, in Haryana state, where entire water supply is through tube wells. Then artesian wells, you can see in the slide about the artesian well. isn't it? So it is a kind of deep wells. Water rises above the ground, held under pressure. Artisan wells are not common in India, isn't it? This is just to make you understand. Then, apart from wells, the springs are there in this groundwater. Now, springs are natural outlets of groundwater held under pressure by impermeable layer. They come out at the places where geological conditions are favorable, isn't it? So groundwater comes to the surface and flows freely under natural pressure, isn't it? There are the types of springs, isn't it? The shallow springs or deep springs, then surface springs are there, or there that is nothing but the shallow springs, isn't it? So four main types are there in springs, just for your understanding. The surface springs or shallow springs, deep springs, mineral springs, hot springs. So that is about the sources of water, isn't it? Now the other question is asked on water pollution, isn't it? So there are many impurities which are present in water in the form of dissolved impurities or suspended impurities, isn't it? Now, dissolved impurities may be in the form of gases or mineral salts, whereas suspended impurities in the form of sand, mud, clay, dust, dead leaves, isn't it? Insects, microbes, these may be present in the form of suspended impurities, isn't it? Now, water pollution is the contamination of water bodies, isn't it? Definition is the presence of impurities and foreign substances in water in such a quantity that lowers its quality and makes it unfit for consumption and become a health hazard. That is the meaning of water pollution. We can also say that when natural color and taste of water is changed and bad smell comes from water due to any kind of contamination higher than permitted limits, it is called water pollution. So, we have seen that water may contain either dissolved impurities or suspended impurities, isn't it? Nowadays, due to rapid urbanization, industrialization, the pollution of water is increasing day by day, isn't it? The disposal of refuse, sewage from so many industries, from the townships, that is directed in nearby streams and rivers, isn't it? That is the surface water, which is one of the source of the water that is getting polluted, isn't it? So, whatever the surface water is there in the form of streams, lakes, and rivers, that is getting polluted, isn't it? Industrial waste from various industries, isn't it? So, we will see how this water is getting polluted. One is industrial waste. So, industrial factor, as I said, the waste which is getting accumulated in the industries, isn't it? That is directed in the nearby rivers and streams. Now, this whatever accumulated material is there during manufacturing process, that may be in all these factories or industries, isn't it? Or mills or mining operations, isn't it? So, this is one of the cause of water pollution. You can see this and understand in the slide that how the surface water is getting polluted due to industries. Then the other cause of water pollution is marine dumping, isn't it? So the garbage यानी कचरा जो है that is produced by many households residential areas, isn't it? In the this may be in the form of paper, plastic, any food article which is waste material, isn't it? So when it is collected and deposited in sea, isn't it? So these items 200 years uh, are required to decompose, and when such items enter the sea, they harm the animals in the sea also, isn't it? Then accidental oil leakage, so that this may take place in the seas. So when the ships are there, isn't it? And marine dumping, we can say, isn't it? So many ships are there, oil leakage may be there, oil may spill, isn't it? As large amount of oil enters into the sea if there is any leakage, and this may not get dissolved in water, isn't it? But it may be a big problem for local marine worldwide, isn't it? Like the fish, birds, and other cities also, other seas also rather, which come in contact, the water of that seas also may get polluted, isn't it? Then other causes of water pollution, urban development. So as I said, uh, that urbanization, isn't it? And population growth is taking place. So due to the population growth, there is increased demand of housing facilities, increased demand of food, increased demand of cloth, isn't it? As more cities and towns are developed, so they have resulted in increased use of fertilizers to produce more crops, then increase in construction activities, then there is inadequate sewer collection. So how the drainage may be there, isn't it? So all these are the issues, isn't it? And the garbage also get accumulated, isn't it? So many chemicals, as you can see in the slide. Then animal waste, isn't it? So the waste produced by animals is washed away into the rivers, isn't it, when it rains. So it gets mixed up with other harmful chemicals and causes various waterborne diseases, isn't it? We will study these waterborne diseases in detail also. So, what are the harmful effects of water pollution? That also we will discuss. But before that, the prevention of water pollution, that you must know, isn't it? How water pollution can be prevented, isn't it? So, water has to be purified, and how it is purified at small scale and large scale, all these we are going to discuss, isn't it? Prevention is the sewage treatment, isn't it? So sewage treatment plants are set up, isn't it? That will not be the factor for polluting water, isn't it? So large sewage plants are developed, are set up, isn't it? Then the surface water is to be protected, isn't it? Surface water, that is principally we can talk about river, isn't it? So rivers must not get polluted, isn't it? Whatever the industrial waste is there, that must not be directed into the nearby streams and rivers. And routine cleaning of the surface waters and other sources, that is also very important, by which the pollution of water can be prevented. Then self hygiene is also very important. The water pollution can be prevented by self hygiene. Hygienic measures, cleanliness measures at individual level are very important, isn't it? Then avoid boats that use harmful fuels. So those must not be used, isn't it? Then keep the pond water clean and safe. So ponds, that is the example of the surface water, that must be always kept clean. Now, harmful effects of water pollution we will see. There are environmental hazards, and these may be biological. The harmful effects may be biological, chemical, physical, psychological, sociological, isn't it? So, at different levels, there are the harmful effects that we will see of water pollution. One is waterborne diseases, isn't it? So, harmful effects of water pollution, these gave rise to so many diseases which will come under waterborne diseases, and these are only because of the people not getting safe drinking water, isn't it? So, these disease organisms are shed into the water in feces and can produce illness in those who consume untreated contaminated water. So, the people who are not getting safe drinking water, who are not following hygienic measures, who are not educated, who are not aware about the health education, so there are chances that they may suffer from waterborne diseases. So, our municipal water treatment facilities are usually able to purify water by removing these agents or killing them by disinfecting the water. So, how the water is disinfected, that also we will speak later on. Now, waterborne diseases examples you must know like poliomyelitis. So, that is because of polio virus. Then hepatitis, which is again a viral infection. Then salmonella bacteria, isn't it? Then shigella bacteria, cholera bacteria, then amoebic dysentery. These are the this slide shows you about the microorganisms and the diseases that are caused, that is in different headings like bacterial diseases. Examples are diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid, cholera. Then viral diseases will include poliomyelitis and hepatitis. Protozoal diseases will include amoebiasis, giardiasis. Then worm infestations will include roundworm, threadworm. Then diseases due to aquatic host, tapeworm, guinea worm, and there are some diseases which are due to toxic substances like the metals like lead, arsenic, copper, mercury. So this slide shows you about the diseases we have discussed now. The child suffering from polio, then the person suffering from hepatitis A, then salmonella, then shigella, then the person suffering from cholera, isn't it? And then amoebic dysentery. Then chemical hazards, harmful effects of water pollution. So chemical hazards, these are result from mismanagement or misuse of chemicals, resulting in an unacceptable risk to human health. These are, for example, pesticides, isn't it? That have been manufactured for purpose of reducing populations of undesirable organisms like pest, isn't it? So pesticide are used again pest. Pest is what? Pest is a undesired plant. Pest is also a plant, but that is undesired plant, isn't it? And that also grows along with the desired plant, desired crop. So pesticides are used to destroy those pests. Now most pesticides kill non-target organisms as well as target also, isn't it? So the wise use of pesticides can protect human health and agricultural crops. Then physical hazards will include airborne particles, that is the particles which are present in the external environment. Then humidity, isn't it? Equipment design and radiation, isn't it? These are physical hazards. Then psychological hazards are environmental factors that produce psychological changes. isn't it? This may be in the form of stress, tension, depression, hysteria. Sociological hazards, that is the harmful effects of this water pollution, are those that result from living in a society where one experiences noise, isn't it? Like many a times, what happen in neighborhood or in the society or colony where we are living, so there may be some program, isn't it? And if any program is there, and if they are celebrating, if they are allowing for a sound system like DJ and all that, so that will create a noise for other people. It will be a noise that will come under sociological hazard, isn't it? Then lack of privacy and overcrowding, isn't it? So that is all about the water importance, functions. Then we have seen the pollution of water, isn't it? How water pollution can be prevented, and what are the harmful effects of water pollution, isn't it? So in this slide, in this lecture, at least three questions, broad questions we have covered. So the answers of three broad questions you can find out in this video only, isn't it? Thank you.